It's not uncommon in Microsoft Excel to have a worksheet that looks like this one does on the screen, where everything seems fine, but when you go to print it, you run into issues. You have columns or rows that are orphaned on one page or another. I'd like to give you a few quick shortcuts into how to remedy that in many situations. If I want to see how this document will look when it's printing, I can move to the bottom, and in the very bottom, right next to the slider, I find that it starts out in normal view. And if I click one icon to the right, that gives me a page layout. So I'll click there, and this shows me what my document will look out like. I have January through August on one page, September through December on the second page. So that's somewhat helpful to show me exactly what it looks like. I have another page preview that gives my page breaks, and it shows page 1 and page 2 in even a smaller font. So I can understand exactly how it's going to print when I'm finished with the document. I'll click back on my normal view. What can I do? Well, there's several options that you have. Now you notice once I click on either of these views, I have a dotted line here which shows me my page break. Let's look at a couple of options to avoid this kind of situation. I'm going to click on the File and then go to Print. And one of the options I have is, if I want to keep it in portrait mode, is I can scale it. The option I have here says no scaling at the bottom. So I'll click on this one, and now I can fit the sheet to one page, fit all columns, or fit all rows. In this particular case, all my rows fit. I have no problem. It's the columns that don't all fit. So I'll click Fit All Columns to one page. And now I have all the columns fit to one page. The only problem with this is that sometimes when I do this, the fonts are so small that they're virtually unreadable. What I did in this case is I printed this to a PDF. I'm going to pop it up on the screen so you can see if that's the case or not. Now in this case, the fonts are still big enough to see when you shrink to fit. But you have to be careful because sometimes the type is so tiny that it doesn't work at all. But in this case, that's one solution. I'm going to minimize my PDF again. The other option, we'll turn this back to no scaling, is either on the print page or on the main page, you can actually change the margins. Right now, my margins are set to normal. And I'm able to get August in. I'll click normal and I'll go to narrow margins. When I do that, now I have September. But you notice if I click on page 2, that doesn't help me with October, November, and December. Sometimes if you have maybe one column that's too wide on a document, you can buy enough real estate by setting your margins to narrow to make it work. I'm going to go back to the main document, and here I can click on margins here, and then we found out it set them back to narrow. I'll turn it back to normal since that didn't solve my issue. And you notice now my dotted line is by August, not by September. There's another thing that you can do that sometimes helps, and that is to change the orientation of the document. We'll click here and turn it to landscape. Now you notice what happened now when I turn it to landscape. Now I have enough to get through to November. If I click on my page preview, only December is orphaned on the second page. So now I'm going to combine two techniques. I'm also going to go back in here and I'm going to change the margins back to narrow and see if that's enough. Oh, glory be. Now I have all columns on landscape working. And if I go into my file, print, once again it says now I only have one page of one. And you can confirm that either in the print menu or in the normal menu. but now I'm able to show all my columns in my document. Another option you have when it comes to printing is you can print only a certain area. And if you click on the print area, it says select an area on the sheet you'd like to print. So I'll click here, I'll do set print area, and I've selected the single cell. I need to do the selection first. So let's just say I want to print part of this. Let's just go through September, and now I'll click on print area. Then when I go to File, Print, it will only print this amount of information. I can actually turn it back from landscape to portrait, and it will fit in a portrait mode. And so you can adjust exactly what part you will print. The other option is you can decide what pages you want to print. So if I'll go back here and I'll go print area clear, which will undo that. And now I see I have everything. Let's decide that we want to print only page 1, so I'll go File, and on my print, I'll select page 1 to page 1. Let's see what it looks like. So this is what the result is when I print to a PDF. So you have several options that you can take when you're trying to get the information output to the printer to be what you need for your particular project.